Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Coach Cruise. I'm your host, Brad. If there's anybody new out there, I see we got a lot of familiar faces in the chat already, or names, as I was just saying a second ago. So good to see everybody. As you see, we're back here in studio, and I see that poor Zoe here. She's not a very big girl, so she's getting cut off. So trying to get her in the picture. Get it. There you are. There she is. Okay, so Zoe's back. High five. You want a treat? High five. I guess she's waiting for you all. I guess she only gives you high fives. She doesn't give me any high fives anymore. But yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks, right? This is the first time we've been back in the studio or office since 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and I was just looking at my paper here, of all the previous super chats. So we're already halfway to a shirt because, again, your name stays in the drawing until there's an actual drawing. So some of you may have contributed and didn't even remember, but we have Sherry B has numbers 1 through 10, Chris Moss 11 through 25, Detroit Fitness Nerd numbers 26 through 30, the Texas Cruiser 31 through 35, and Chris Moss 36 through 50. And then look at that, Tim G, admin Tim is getting us started, and I haven't even said hello to everybody yet. So let's get Tim up there. And thank you so much, sir, our favorite admin. Well, maybe I should say Aaron, right? Get myself in trouble there. But you're my favorite male admin, Tim. I will say that. And Mike's a close second, but you're number one. We'll do it that way. All right. So let's see. 51 through 65. Okay. And that means that you get a treat. I bet you give a high five for Tim and Cheryl. Yeah, there it is. What do you say? There you go. All right. And let me get, and this week we are brought to you by Basil Hayden. All right. And so we are going to do a little shot of Basil Hayden, get things going here, and then we will say hello to everybody. All right. So admin Tim, Cheryl, thank you so much. Ooh. I haven't done Basil Hayden in a while. It's still good, but it's not what I'm used to. So that one caught me by surprise, but it's okay. It's okay. Thank you for getting us started there, Tim. And let me go ahead and say hello to everybody. Justin is back on the podium. He was not on the podium, and I think he got mad about it, and he made a point to be like, okay, I got to get my gold medal back. So Justin was first to check in today. And then we have admin Tim, who we just have up on the screen there, along with his lovely wife, Cheryl. So we got the two medals in the same house. We got the silver and the bronze to Tim and Cheryl there. Frankie Floyd is here. Good to see Frankie as always. Chris Moss, there he is. And there is one Miss Erin Holmes saying hi to everybody. Carnival Cruise Addicts, one of our family channels, is here, along with Michelle from Cruise Life TV. And then there is Kimberly Lavelle, and then Eric from North Shore Travelers. We were just chatting via YouTube earlier today. Good to see you on here, Eric. And Carnival Cruise Addicts saying hello to all the people. And I like to see, because when I go on everybody else's channels, I like to see, I see so many familiar faces, like watching other shows. So like if I go to Carnival Cruise Addicts, I see some people. I go to Island Time, I see some people, Cruise Life TV. And you see all the crossover. Eric from North Shore Travelers, I've seen on several different channels and stuff. So it's good to see. So big family network here. All right. Carnival Cruise Addict says, hey, happy birthday to the one and only Texas Cruiser. Absolutely happy birthday, Rick, and hope it's been great and you have your best year yet. Despite many years under, let's make this one the best of them all, if we can make that happen. All right. Okay, I love this. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. And there is one very familiar face. Will G is here. Good to see you, Will. And then we have Mandy, our favorite piano bar patron. Um, then we have Anne. Anne is back. Good to see you again, Anne. And then we have Adele Sargent, who is happy to see Zoe. And yeah, after 2 weeks, I tell you what, it's some of you know, like the Huskies mix or whatever, that they can be very vocal. She's not a very vocal dog. Like, she doesn't bark a lot at people walking by. Never, as a matter of fact. But she'll bark at you, you know. So she was staying with my sisters for the past couple weeks, and when I went over there, I mean, she was obviously very happy to see me, but she let me know about it. She gave me some barks, and I'm not sure, you know, by all those barks, whether she was just saying I was happy to see you or she was calling me names. I kind of think it might have been the latter. So yeah, I think she was a little upset at me that I was gone for that long, but there she was. We got Amy McConnell that is fresh off the Harmony of the Seas, and good to see you here, Amy. I saw Amy not too long ago, about a week and a half ago, right before she got on that ship. When they have Ken, Ken is here. Good to see you back, Ken. Okay, I think I said hello to everybody else. And look at this here. We are going to do a shirt drawing before we even really get into the show. And we got a lot to talk about because Carnival has, you know, big news coming up with new ships, but not just new ships, a whole bunch of new stuff. But we have got to get Sherry and Jay in the drawing here. And they're going to be in two drawings because they can't even all fit in one. So, Sherry, you are numbers 66 through 100. But you are also, let's see, because that's only 35. So that means you are also 1 through 15 on the next drawing. And I will get my second shot of Basil Hayden ready here. And we will get Zoe set up here in just a second. But we are off to a roaring start. Tell you what, home cooking's good cooking, right? All right. Oh, wait. I got my shot and I'm saying high five. She's like, yeah, I don't want the shot. I want this. High five for Sherry J. What do you say? Say it louder. There you go. Big, hearty, loud thank you. And this is to you. You know, thank you so much, Sherry and Jay. Always one of our biggest supporters. Appreciate you so much. Here you go. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. And then, not to be outdone, right behind there, we have the birthday man himself, the Texas Cruiser. And the Texas Cruiser, you are 16 through 20. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And let's see who else we got. Aaron says that face did not indicate that there was anything good about that. All right. So it wasn't, I did just wake up from a nap. I stayed up. I know it's tax season and, you know, the tax deadline or whatever is supposed to be. So stayed up late to get the taxes done yesterday. And then had a long day at work. And then work was over. And it was one of those work days where you also had to tack on an hour and a half long meeting on the end of it. So did that meeting, then rushed home, and I was exhausted. So I took a quick nap, and then I woke up, and I'm all like brain frazzled here. So that might have had a little something to do with it. But yeah, I agree. The second one went a lot smoother, though. All right, we got Trisha and Bert Nichols from the New Year's Eve cruise and a couple other cruises we've been on together. Bruce, we hadn't seen Bruce in a minute. He's usually on after me. I'm assuming you're still on right after me, Bruce. And if you are, you all could check Bruce on Ocean Travel. He follows me. And then Mark, hadn't seen Mark in a minute. I have seen some of your posts. Him and his lovely wife, you know, are traveling about and out and doing all kinds of stuff. So I see his feed popping up on Facebook all the time. So good to see you back here, Mark. And he's saying hello to everybody. And again, you all are so friendly. You're saying hi to everybody. Like I said, this is just one big old happy family. And Marjorie just jumped in. Good to see you, Marjorie. And I think we might actually be caught up now. Took us a while, took us 10 minutes, right? And you know what? Here's another thing. You all are amazing. There's 40 of you already watching here. We haven't even talked about anything yet. And I did not even advertise this show properly. I took till today to even put a thumbnail up and advertise the show. And here you all are. All right. So what did I say? We got to do a shirt drawing, right? So let's get that done before I forget. And you see, we got nothing on the phone there. And in the shirt drawing, we have Sherry and Jay Bell, numbers 1 through 10. We have Chris Moss, 11 through 25. The Detroit Fitness Nerd, 26 through 30. The Texas Cruiser, 31 through 35. Chris Moss, again, 36 through 50. Admin Tim, 51 through 65, was our first super chat of the day. And then Sherry closed it out with numbers 66 through 100. All right. And then Sherry is already 1 through 15 for the next drawing after this. And the Texas Cruiser is 16 through 20, but they won't be in this one. All right. So everybody sees, again, it's empty. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. Siri's broken. Hold on. Take 2. Nothing's happened yet. All right. It's glowing, but it's not giving me a number. Let's try it again. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. 75. And guess what? That is Sherry. Sherry had number 66 through 100. So Sherry has won the prize today. Of course, I have both the original version of the Coach Cruz shirt. Okay. We got that one, like the one I have on right now. We have the new design. And Sherry, I'll talk to you in the messages. I might have a new thing coming. There is the new design. Nothing on the back. But I know you have just about every shirt. So there might be something you're interested in, but I'll message you about that later. That's a different prize, but I haven't got it yet. So we'll talk about that. But congratulations on that one, Sherry. And let's get into the discussion. So let me just take a sip here because all that talking got me thirsty. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're all caught up. Okay. So big cruise news, right? Carnival has released the names of their next 2 ships, and they are XL class. So obviously, well, not obviously, some of you might not know, but it just got off the Carnival Jubilee a couple weeks ago. That is an XL class ship. Its sister ships are the Carnival Celebration and the Carnival Mardi Gras. So, I mean, if you board any of those 3 ships and walk around, it's pretty much the same. The layout's all the same. The currents area is a little different. The fortune teller bar is like on the inside instead of out, like along that little corridor there on the Mardi Gras. And then, some design differences and things like that, but, or decoration, whatever. But for the most part, it's the same ships. But they are wonderful ships, and they have some wonderful amenities. Like all 3 of the ships, for example, just one thing comes to mind is the Shaq's Chicken. I remember that one, I think, because that's one of the last things that I ate on the ship, Aaron and I. And the Uncle Jerome sandwich. I don't know what it is about that sandwich, but I love that sandwich. It's got, a little bit of spice to it. And those chicken sandwiches, they're a nice portion of, fried chicken breast. I don't know if I think it's chicken breast. It might be, dark meat, or I'm pretty sure it's chicken breast, but it is really juicy. And, just the pickles and everything, and the hot sauce that goes with it. Great. They also have breakfast there. But yeah, that's a wonderful addition, but I'm getting sidetracked here. I am going to talk about the Jubilee a little bit, but I want to get to the Festival and Tropical. Carnival's keeping with their tradition of going back and honoring their past, renaming some of these new mega ships after previous ships that were teeny tiny by comparison. And North Shore Traveler says the big Aristotle. Yeah, that is another Shaq's chicken sandwich, and I've had that one too. I just the Uncle Jerome is the one that I catered to, but the big Aristotle is very good as well. So what did you all think of the names? And then also, this is a question I have, and I really want to see what everybody's thoughts are in the comments. I'm not opposed to what they're doing. So, Michelle B, welcome aboard. She says they need to bring back glass elevators. Yeah, you know what? And that's a good point. And since you just brought that topic up, another thing they need to do on these newer ships coming out, if it's possible, I don't know with the engineering and everything, if it's even possible, but one complaint almost everybody had is the elevators and that they're too small. And we're not even talking about them being glass or anything, but just for the size of the ship, they don't accommodate very easily, everybody. Embarkation is a mess, for example. When everybody, I mean, those people that are bringing on their luggage, trying to get up to their rooms with luggage and things like that, along with the 6,000 plus other guests, it can be a little rough. So North Shore Travelers is saying, I would love to see an atrium. Jamie, Dr. Inks. Okay. And we got Jamie, who just met me on yeah. Jamie, I totally remember that. Aaron and I had a really nice conversation with you and your kids right on the corner there by Dr. Inks. And so good to see you, Jamie. And Aaron is in the comments here too. So I'm sure she will chime in and mention something about that as well. But you say newer ships need better spaces for bands like Ocean Plaza on the Vista class. Yeah, that's a good point. We did enjoy Lady and the Vamps in the Golden Mermaid that they played there. And it was great if you got a seat, but the seats are big and they take up a lot of space. If you watch them in the Golden Mermaid, or if you're on the Mardi Gras, it's the same thing. It's Brass Magnolia on one ship, and I forget what the name of the bar is on another, but it's the same space, right? Pretty much the same space. The stage is facing a different corner on one of those ships. But yeah, if you get a seat, it's a great venue, and you get up and close and personal with the band and everything. And Lady and the Vamps were amazing to watch. And then they also played at Guy's Pig and Anchor. They stick Guy's Pig and Anchor back in a corner. They're not. So if you're not back in that corner with them, I mean, you're just hearing the music or watching them from afar. So, Jamie, I agree with you on that statement. Another place I know Amy's on here, and I know there's some other Dream Class cruisers that enjoy, the Dream Class as well. Now, some people are opposed to this, but we happen to like the Ocean Plaza on the Dream Class because the Alchemy Bar is right there. So the Alchemy Bar fans out there, you get the best of both worlds. If it's a good band playing, you got live music right there. And then, you get to enjoy the Alchemy Bar right there. So you definitely, seats are hard to come by. That's some expensive real estate, and you don't want to leave it if there's a good band playing. So that will be the case in July for us. I see PJ Cody, the one-armed bandit, has joined us. Good to see you, PJ. And he's joining us from the Facebook side. Nathaniel Orvis says, hey, Coach, long time no see. Been busy. Burning the midnight oil. Hey, I feel you on that busy part, Nathaniel. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, though. I think it was Tony Robbins. I was reading his book one time, but, he I guess he was feeling sorry for himself. Not that he does that hardly ever, but the beginning of his career and all the different stuff that he was having to do. And, and then he thought about it, and he's like, you know what, this is a great problem, even though he's so busy and active and everything, he reflected back to the times when he didn't have anything going on and he wished he had, so many irons in the fire. So, you figure out a way to make it work. And that's what we're doing. I'm sure that's what you're doing. So yeah, you figure out a way and you have fun with it and do the best with it, right? So Chris Moss says, I don't mind big ships, but the 8,000 person, yes. And you're reading my mind, Chris, because we're going to get into that a little bit. Jamie says, agree with that. We really enjoyed that on the breeze as well, referring to the Ocean Plaza right there by the Alchemy Bar. Mark says, in relation to the festival and the Tropical, I like the names, think it's a great homage to the past. The Project 8 class is what I'm curious about. Yes, Sherry, Jay and I are watching you from Edisto Beach, South Carolina, vacationing with the little granddaughter. That is awesome. Sherry, what is your little granddaughter's name? I'm just curious. I don't think you've told me that before. So yeah, let's hear the name. Aaron is saying, hi, Jamie. And Jamie, you may remember speaking to Aaron. I'm sure you do as well. So we had a nice long conversation with Jamie there and the fam. Maddie. Oh, I love that name. Maddie. That is such a, fun name to say and just flows off the tongue. Venture Cast says, howdy, coach, and everyone from Houston. What's going on, Venture Cast? Good to see you here. And I haven't seen you much. And if you've been on here before, I apologize. The name sounds different. So if this is your first time on the show, thanks for joining. And I hope you come back again and again and again so I never forget your name. All right. Nathaniel Orver says, I'm going to book on the maiden voyage for the festival. Very cool. And VentureCast says, hey, CCA. And yes, Carnival Cruise Addict says, enjoy your granddaughter, Sherry and Jay. Tim says the same thing. Enjoy your vacation with granddaughter. That is always a fun vacation. VentureCast. Okay, you switched it up on me. When you all go and change your names, it confuses me. So, of course, I remember the Cruise Vet, and now you are VentureCast. Okay, I get it. Okay, and then CCA, must have been entering theirs right after you typed yours. But take another drink because I'm thirsty. Okay. So yeah, let's get back in. So we were talking about Festival Tropical, and the Carnival Celebration, I think, did the best job of the 3 XL class ships so far. The Mardi Gras, they brought that one out, but the Celebration, they really tried to tie in a lot of history. So much so that they took relics from past ships and they put those little Easter eggs all throughout the ship, especially in, the area like where the Golden Mermaid is on the Jubilee. Is it the Brass Magnolia? I forget whether the Brass Magnolia is the Mardi Gras or if it's the Celebration. And I'm forgetting what the third name of that bar. I'm forgetting. I have a Brass Magnolia, Golden Mermaid, and I forget what the other one is and which ship it belongs to. But it's the same bar. It's just a little different design. Each one of them. Brass Magnolia is Mardi Gras. Okay, Mandy says, so thank you. And then what is the Celebrations Brass Magnolia or Golden Mermaid? Who can tell me? Because I forget. So I know somebody's got that up there. Ashley Davis is here. And Ashley was in here last week. And he sent a John Heel duck. And those are some rare finds. But and Ashley, just so you know, Ashley and his daughter, Abby, technically, if you all, fun little side thing for you, if you type in who was the founder or who created Cruising Ducks, you're going to see Abby, his daughter's name, Abby Davis, and then his name is mentioned as well as the creators of the Cruising Ducks and the Cruising Craze. So, unfortunately, they're not getting paid for creating that, right? But all these makers of ducks should give them a cut or a percentage for every duck that they sell, right? Because they're basically the ones that made this popular on cruise ships. And so they have a Facebook page, Cruising Ducks, and that's got like 300,000 plus followers. And then Ashley also has Carnival Jubilee page that's got like 150,000 followers. So any of you that are fans of the Golden Jubilee, now I got the Golden Mermaid and the Carnival Jubilee, trying to make them a thing. So yeah, you could go check out those pages as well. Tim says, I'm looking forward to the Carnival Tropicale. Oh, wait. That will be our 50th anniversary trip. Oh, that will be a cool trip. All right. Carnival Cruise Addict says, we got a John Heel duck from the Davis family. All right, very cool. And Aaron says, sorry, we missed you Sunday, Ashley. And yeah, Aaron and Amy were coming back from the Harmony of the Seas with Logan, and they had to rush and get on their planes. They got to the airport, just in time but they were going to hook up because Ashley, that's his place of occupation. And he was going to meet him up for lunch, but this ran out of time. So that's what that's all about. Mandy says Golden Jubilee on the celebration. Okay, so that's why I was confused, because I just came off of the Jubilee. So the Golden Jubilee is the name of the bar on the celebration. But yeah, it has all those Easter eggs, like all the tables that they use, that you put your drinks on and stuff in there. They took those from another ship, one of the older ships, I forget which one. And then there's some other, relics that they took from, other ships and tied it into the artwork and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Jamie says, I'm pretty sure Brass Magnolia is celebration. Mandy, I think Mandy's right. Jamie is saying that they think it's celebration. Golden Jubilee. Oh yeah, no, wait. Brass Magnolia, yeah, that is celebration. God, I'm getting confused now again. Golden Jubilee is the Mardi Gras. Okay. And then we're in agreement on one thing for sure. The Golden Mermaid is on the Jubilee. I know that much. That much I'm confident about. So Will G, what did you say? What did I miss there? I'm gonna see now. I have to go back and see what you said there. Oh, okay. There you go. Okay, Golden Jubilee. Okay, Golden Jubilee is on the celebration. All right. So Golden Jubilee is on the celebration. I got you there, Will. Sorry I missed that. And you guys are putting in comments so fast. It's hard to read them all. All right, so let's see what else we got here. And Ashley says we will meet up next time. Yes, we will. And we had a good time. We actually did meet up, and we did a live show on one of his channels. I believe it was the Carnival Jubilee channel Facebook page. And we talked about the cruise and what we liked about it and everything. So Anne says Brass is Mardi Gras. Okay. Brass Magnolia. Anne's never been on the celebration. Michelle B, the Ship Wanderer. Google it. Yes. Google that. And like I said, you will see Ashley Davis and Abby Davis as the originators of the Carnival Cruising Ducks. Cool little nugget to have next to your name on Google, right? Jamie says, I'm looking at deck plans. Brass Magnolia is Mardi Gras, Golden Jubilee is Celebration, and Golden Mermaid is Jubilee. All right. So I think we learned something. If you all didn't know that, now you do. And yeah, Ashley, yes, it was. Okay. So I think it was Mark that was talking about the Ace class. Oh, before we get to the Ace class, though, the Festival and Tropicale, one thing that they're changing. First, let me ask you this. They're getting rid of the roller coaster on the next two XL class ships. So the Festival and Tropicale, they're dumping the roller coaster for an expanded water park. All right. So first off, in the comments, let me know, would you prefer to have a roller coaster up there, have all 5 classes have a roller coaster, or do you like the idea of dumping the roller coaster for an expanded water park? So if you prefer the roller coaster, put roller coaster in the comments. If you prefer the new, bigger, expanded water park, put water park in the comments. I'm curious as to what everybody will say. All right. On North Shore Travelers, I'm curious about that too. says, I'm curious about the revamp of the VIFP program. I said that would come out by Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is a long time away. Carnival Cruise Addicts, come on our non-group cruise at Will G, February 14th, and see Carnival Cruise Addicts, Cruise Life TV. I did get together with Cruise Life TV. Carnival Cruise Addicts and I, before we really knew each other, we were on a cruise together. But we got to make that happen. Also, North Shore Travelers. But we're gonna all get on a cruise together here eventually. All right. Chris says, it sounds like Coach needs to wet his whistle and needs a drink. So, Zoe, you know what that means? You want a treat? All right. If you don't, you're not going to get one. So, Chris, I appreciate that. And, Chris, I do believe I have your shirt. It's already sitting out on the table. I told you it was going to be a minute before I sent it because I was headed out. But I will, you know what? Let's get Zoe up here. You want a treat? Come on. All right. Guess who you're thanking this time? You are thanking Chris Moss. High five for Chris. All right, what do you say? She says, thank you, sir. And I say thank you. And we're getting, well, we're about halfway. Well, close to halfway. More than halfway to halfway, I guess you could say. But thank you for that, for Chris. Or thank you for that, Chris. Can't talk. It's been 3 weeks since we've been back here. And I'm going to chase it. So, Chris, let's get you down. And you are numbers 21 through 35. All right, 21 through 35. And Carnival Cruise Addict says Bolt never worked. So that's a good thing. Jamie says, love the change, especially the water park at night. Okay. North Shore Travelers, expand the water park. So far, we're 3-0. Texas Cruiser says, larger water park. VentureCast water park. Will G says, I will see. I'll be retired, but Joanna won't be yet. All right. Carnival Cruise Addicts water park. Mark Booze water park. Andy, is this a clean sweep? Water park, water park. Aaron says, get rid of roller coaster and expand water park to lure kids out of. You know what? I like your thinking there. I don't know if that's going to work. But I like where you're going with that. Amy says the water park would get more usage. Yes, I agree. And Ashley, I agree with this too. I like different things on different ships. It makes it more fun. Adele Sargent says water park. Julie, water park is free. Excellent point. I think Tim says, I like the roller coaster. I'll have to see what they come up with. Yeah, so they did do some artwork, but I mean, it obviously doesn't do it justice just seeing some artwork, Tim. But yeah, it's definitely a more expansive area for sure for that water park. So I think it will be neat. I think there's going to be, there's a lot of anticipation for any new ship, but a new ship with newer stuff or different stuff, as Ashley just pointed out, that's a good thing. Michelle from Cruise Life TV says, I like the idea of an expanded water park. The Bolt is fun one time, but it is too short, too slow, and too expensive to ride more than once or twice. Yes, I agree, Michelle. We were supposed to go on the Bolt, and then the first day that we had it scheduled, also we got late invitation to the Diamond Luncheon, and we didn't want to miss the Diamond Luncheon. And then the time got away from us, and we didn't get to go on it. So yeah, we kind of lost out on that one, but that's okay. At least I've been on it a couple of times. Mandy says, I'm scared of the coaster after seeing so many get stuck. Yeah, that would kind of suck to get stuck up there. But at least they don't do a flip, so you would never get stuck upside down. So you got that going for you. Nathaniel says, I wouldn't want a water park on an Alaskan cruise. No, I don't think they'll be taking that ship ever to Alaska. It's too big. So Alaska, just, for reference, they have to go through narrower passages and things like that. So typically the ships are more narrow. You won't get those big mega ships in Alaska. And in case anybody was wondering, that's what I've been told anyway. Let's see. Tim, I have done the water park once out of the 15 cruises. Okay. And yeah, I don't go too often, but when I do go, I will say about the water park and going on the slides. When I do go to the water park, I'm glad I did. Like I've never gone and been like, oh, that was lame, or I wish I wouldn't have done that, or I wish I wouldn't have wasted time. Every single time I've done it, I've been like, okay, yeah, that was cool. Glad you got that into, packed that into the vacation or whatever. So yeah, I'll say that. Michelle B, roller coaster looks cool, but it seems like water park would be best. And what Michelle said, people probably only ride once or twice. And that is very true. Yeah. And yeah, that's a good point too about the roller coaster is like for people like myself, and there's several of you out there as well, we've done the roller coaster and we've done it. I've done it twice now. So once you get repeat cruisers and like the Jubilee, for example, I mean, everybody that lives down in Texas will have been on that Jubilee. And I'm sure everybody that's going is getting on the roller coaster for the novelty of it, right? To be like, hey, I rode a roller coaster on a ship at sea. I mean, that's just kind of cool to say you did that, right? But then once you've done it, it's like, yeah, I don't want to drop, because you and a partner or whatever, you're going to drop $30 currently to ride that boat roller coaster. And if you've already done it once or twice, unless it was like the most amazing thing ever, you might not want to drop another $30 on it when you've already done it once. And there's so many other things to do, right? So yeah, you might not do it. Whoever was saying, about the water park being free, that part is, cool. All right, let's see here. Chris Moss, Star Princess going to Alaska. I am on her in July 2026. I'm thinking about Alaska again, Chris. I'm thinking about Alaska, not the Princess, but a Carnival cruise. I'm thinking about it for next summer. So stay tuned. Maybe I can meet up with a few of you. And I did. I met quite a few people. Lewis, who lives down in Florida, comes to mind. We met on the Carnival Luminosa a couple of years back. And yeah, so you can make friends no matter where you go. So maybe if they're old friends, even better, because I already know some of you getting on there. But new friends, we're always looking for those too. All right, Michelle B. Lee, Bellows Creek Cruiser almost got taken out at the bottom of the kids slide. He was flailing around like a fish out of water. And yeah, you know what? I can relate to that story, because at the bottom of those water slides, there's quite a bit of water to slow you down. And my big butt, as heavy as I am, I'm probably barely passing that weight limit or whatever. And so when I go down there, I come down fast and I take up a lot of runway when I go through. And that water can be deep sometimes. I've gone underneath that water and then, come up, battling for my life or whatever. So I can relate to that. I can relate. All right. And Chris is saying that is a larger ship for Princess. And that was what ship was that? Star Princess. Okay. Ashley is saying, I see a group cruise coming up. Yeah. And as Carnival Cruise Addicts said, they're on a non-group cruise. And I've been on a few of those now, right? Like New Year's Eve was a non-group cruise for my channel. Like we had so many people that were coach cruisers or whatever, and then we had Cruise Live TV there as well. We had just a big network of people, and we all, hung out. But I think there was about a dozen of us or something. It was a good time. Yeah, Trisha and Bert, who are on this, were here. Yoli and Andrew. Like I said, Cruise Life TV. We had Rod and Vicky. PJ was on there. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody, and I'm going to feel bad about this. Well, my brain's frazzled, so forgive me on that one. All right. Oh, so not only ships, but like I said, we had so much to talk about. We're almost 2/3 of the way through the show. And Mark, our booze, I appreciate that. One of these days, and Aaron's actually working on this with me. We're going to start doing that. And I think, at least when I do it, so I'm going to start doing these certification classes or whatever. And then I'm going to start booking Carnival cruises because, like, people ask me, like, oh, do you do other cruise lines or whatever? And I'm like, no. And again, it's not that I'm opposed to doing other lines. I'd love to do other lines. It's that, I can go on Carnival, say, for $1,000, or I can go on this other cruise line for $2,500. It's just like, yeah, I'll take the $1,000 option because of the casino deals. And I know about the UR comp thing, because I know somebody will probably mention that. But the UR comp thing, that the deals that I've checked out haven't been, as good, and or the dates haven't lined up the way I want them to or whatever yet. I'll eventually get there, but yeah, I'm going to do that. So, keep a mental note of that, because we'd love to book you. And like I said, Aaron's actually looking at those certification courses now. So when that happens, hopefully we can book our first official group cruise and have people book under us. And that would be a lot of fun. So that would be cool. Michelle said, loved your non-group cruise. Met so many fun people. It was awesome. Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, Cruise Life TV, Greg and Michelle, they were there, and we had a great time all week. Almost got arrested. No, we didn't almost get arrested, but we did get detained by police. So, and we had a crazy person chase us through the streets of Aruba. That part is very true. If you don't know that story, you got to go check that out. And that's on video too. North Shore Travelers, I booked the Jubilee in August for wife and I, and it was $1,300, including gratuity and free drinks in the casino. Yeah, that is a great deal. Somebody posted that the new deals have come out. Carnival Cruise Addicts, you probably know this as well as anybody. Is that true? Did new deals, new offers come out? I'm booked for the summer, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and spring break. So really all I have, open right now, and unless I changed, and I've done that before. Like, for example, New Year's Eve, originally I was on the Vista again 2 years in a row, but I switched to the Venezia because it was like $1,200 cheaper or something. And I like the ports as well. So I'll be on the Venezia New Year's Eve. And then the Mardi Gras. I'll be back on the Mardi Gras in March. Looking forward to that, because I really do like the Mardi Gras. They have the favorite shows, my favorite shows, of the aerial acrobats and stuff. Love in Vegas and Voodoo Moon. Two really good shows. Anybody that's going to go on the Mardi Gras. And Eric, I think you were just on the Mardi Gras, so you might be able to comment. Now, one major fail, speaking of that, on my part, I can't even blame Aaron for this, because I'm the one that's supposed to do the research, but neither one of us saw the Rio show. And honestly, I mean, normally I over research, shows and things like that, so I know exactly what it is I want to do or what I don't want to miss. I had heard about that Dear My Future Husband or whatever, and I thought that was like their big show. I didn't care for it. I didn't really like it at all. Aaron didn't like it. Neither one of us came away from that, thinking that was a great show or anything. Maybe we caught the cast on a night where it wasn't the best or something. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me. So apologies out there to anybody that loves that show. But the show that we missed is the Rio. And I was wondering, I'm like, where is their aerial acrobatics show? I mean, you got the big circus or the circus show on the Celebration. That's their big thing. I already mentioned the Mardi Gras, and I'm like, where's this one for? And then apparently it was named Rio, and I don't know how we missed it, but we missed it. And now it's like, that's exclusive to the Jubilee. So we got to go back on the Jubilee to see the Rio show. So anybody going on future cruises, make sure you do your research, what shows are, claimed to be really, really good and stuff, so you don't miss those shows. I mean, we did plenty, but yeah. And North Shore Traveler says Voodoo Moon was awesome. Yeah, that is an awesome show. And like I said, Love in Vegas. I think I might even like Love in Vegas just a little bit either. Will G says, wasn't a big fan either of the Dear Future Husband. Yeah, I don't know. Did see Celestial Strings for probably like the 14th time. and it didn't disappoint again. It was still very good. But I mean, I've seen Celestial Strings enough now to where I might not go see it the next time I'm on a cruise that's seen it that many times. Like if there's some other show, a comedy, whatever, if there's nothing really going on besides Celestial Strings, sure, we'll go see it. Or, if somebody in the party, whoever I'm with wants to go see it, would definitely do that because I would understand. But yeah, and I think I'm getting to that point where I've seen Celestial Strings, as good as a show that is, that I don't have to see it on a future show. All right. Now, the thing I was just going to mention, I saw this on Facebook and I thought it was interesting, but Carnival seems to be catering more, and they've even come out and said this, to be more family friendly. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? At least in terms of, somebody says family friendly, you think like, oh yeah, what's wrong with that? But is family friendly causing fun to go away for some adults? So I'll explain what I mean. So Quest, for example, for the longest time, they had Quest on just about every ship. The only ships that didn't have it were if the cruise directors felt uncomfortable doing Quest. Okay. Now, Royal, for example, I know this because Aaron and Amy just got off Harmony of the Seas. They had Quest on the Harmony of the Seas. And they said, it was pretty much the same thing as what it was on Carnival. And, Royal certainly doesn't have any kind of reputation, I guess you could say, that would be negative in any way in terms of families, right? But they're having it. But the reason that, the Quest is kind of going away, and I've talked to some of the people higher up, even some of the cruise directors, and they're like, yeah, it's probably not coming back. That's pretty much, the word that's gotten out there. My bar crawls. All right. You're thinking like, you all have seen the bar crawls. You're like, oh, it's so much fun. I want to go on one, or, glad we got to go on this. This is great. So even that, like on the Carnival Jubilee, I will say, they stepped up and they helped out, which is only smart because you don't want 75 people coming into one bar. So, like, let me help you guys out because the bar crawl is going to go on either way. But it used to be where they would just give us, give myself a couple senior bartenders, 2-3 senior bartenders, and they would travel with us around the ship because we were such a big group. And then when they got done serving all the drinks at one bar, they'd be like, all right, what's the next bar? And you'd tell them and they would know what the drink was, and they'd start making up all those drinks. And then that way, when we got there, it was just like, okay, swipe your card, here's your drink. Swipe your card, here's your drink. Or basically, they just hand out the drinks because they recognize the people by then. Well, on this cruise, they're like, yeah, we're kind of getting away from these because they're going more family friendly. It's like, okay, be family friendly, but what's wrong with having a bar crawl, amongst adults? I like, if bar crawls were such a bad thing where they were causing fights and all kinds of bad stuff, I get it, but that's not the case. Like, I've never heard of, oh, bad bar crawl gone wrong or anything like that. People start fighting. I never heard that, Carnival, as many fights as that have happened and things like that. I've never heard of one that came about because of a bar crawl. So I'm a little disappointed with Carnival for that. Because they're supposed to be the fun ship, right? The fun ship. Okay, well, shouldn't it be fun for everybody? Like, why do you have to take stuff away that people enjoy? So, I get the Quest thing a little bit more because that's pretty risque, but you're not letting kids in there. It's not like, but I think they just don't want anything attached to them that doesn't scream, family friendly or whatever. And that's the only thing I can think of. So what are your thoughts on that? Is Carnival going a little too overboard with this family friendly stuff? And then that was going to tie into the whole water park thing. I'm not opposed to the water park. Obviously, none of you are. Nobody said I'd rather have the roller coaster, But the water park is more family friendly. More kids can go to it. It's free. It's going to get used more. All great comments. But the whole catering to just families and taking away some of the adult fun. I don't agree with that. Obviously being an adult and all, we want to have fun too, right? And if they get a little too overboard, that's why I'm not doing Disney. Like if somebody gave me a free Disney cruise, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Thanks. It'd be awesome, whatever. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay that price for Disney. And then it's not even going to be as fun because it's less adult friendly, right? And it's catering more to kids. Now, if I had kids, yeah, sure, I would enjoy that with them and everything, but I don't, and they won't let me bring Zoe. So, yeah, as I mentioned, Aaron says Royal still does Quest. Anne says love Quest, and you can't love it anymore on Carnival because they got rid of it. Trisha and Bert says we missed the Quest. NCL has it too. Angie is here. Good to see you as always, Angie. I agree. Just because I have a family doesn't mean I don't enjoy adult entertainment. I have a family. I'm not dead. Absolutely. There's another person. Mandy says I love Quest. Everyone's so sensitive. Absolutely. So yeah. Aaron says I look for them to tell you soon that the suck my beer contest isn't allowed. Yeah. That might be the case too. And again, that's all in good fun. I mean, any of you that go to my channel, the first thing you see is I think the Carnival Magic or one of my bar crawls where it's a very risque picture, right? that was the suck my beer contest. And if anybody doesn't know what the suck my beer contest is, basically you put a pint glass of beer in between your legs, right? And then a straw in it. And then your partner has to suck that beer through a straw completely empty. And then whoever does it the fastest is the winner. So, I mean, if somebody's between your legs and your hands on the back of their head, well, that image that it's supposed to be. And it's supposed to be kind of like a ha ha, it's supposed to, be fun that way, right? Especially if you've ever, had a few drinks or whatever. But yeah, I agree. I agree with Aaron. They got rid of Quest. So, I could see him saying, hey, yeah, we might help you out with this bar crawl, but you can't do that. It wouldn't shock me because it seems to be that's the way things are trending, right? Mandy says the fun part about Quest is that no one will ever see you again and they're strangers. Yeah. Well, some people might see you again, but not many, right? And yeah, it is a lot of fun. And I've done some crazy stuff in those quests. And I'm not usually the person that's always doing crazy stuff, but it's kind of with that mentality, right? You get a few drinks in you, and then not only that, but then you see kind of everybody else doing it. So it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable that you're not stepping out too far out of the lines because kind of everybody else is doing it. So, hey, so yeah. Yeah, and then and Manny's like, so I'm like, sure, I can bring my bra up to the stage first. Yeah, absolutely. Amy is saying maybe they want to organize their own bar crawl and charge extra for it so they make money instead of you. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised Carnival hasn't done something like that, actually, Amy. I'm a little parched here, so I'm going to. Okay. So I got to get more guests. Carnival Cruise Addicts, Cruise Life TV, North Shore Travelers. We got to get you all back on here so I can just sit here and drink and not talk so much. I wouldn't even have to stop and take a drink. Kimberly Lavelle, more family equals now they play movies during the day on Lido. Bars seem to be closing earlier. Good point. Smoking area not on Lido anymore. No music in the back of the ship for smokers. Yeah, you know what? I mean, excellent points there. Amy McConnell says nothing wrong with Quest if you're over 18. Michelle, what they're taking away is like they've taken away Quest on Carnival, right? And the rumor is it's not coming back. All right. So they're trying to cater more toward the family environment. But, my point was like the bar crawls, the beverage manager even told me like, hey, yeah, we're kind of steering away. So technically we're not supposed to assist in any way. But let me just, put this in a nutshell for you. So if you want to host a bar crawl, right? And I've done a video. I mean, you can go watch my video. People ask me so many times, like, how can I do a bar crawl? Yours is so organized, blah, blah, blah. And so I put step by step in a video exactly how you do it. But I'm going to tell you now. So, I mean, you start your Facebook group or whatever on your cruise page, and you get everybody excited about it, whatever. I mean, you can do shirts like I do, or, tweak it however you want, right? But then once you get on the ship, you need to go to guest services and you say, hey, I need to speak to your beverage manager. And you go to the beverage manager, they come down and say, hey, look, I got a bar crawl. We got 75 people signed up. It's going to be on this day, and we're going to have it at this time. All right. And then usually before, recently, what they would do is say, oh, okay, cool. What's the order of the bars you're going to go in? And, I tell them the order. And then it's a good idea to have a suggested drink at each bar. That way, most people will go along with that drink. And I always tell everybody, you don't have to order that drink. But, if you have 75 people and 60 people get the Cuban iced tea, for example, then that means those other 15 drinks, it's not too crazy of a deal, and they can make those, and it's not too much of a problem because everybody else is getting Cuban iced tea, and you can get the drinks out quick, and that way you're not staying at one bar for like an hour. All right, so you organize all that, and then that's really the hardest part of it, and then you just go from bar to bar. And like I say, the senior bartenders that are with you, they just say, okay, we're up to the Tides bar next, right? And yeah, we're up to the Tides bar. What was the drink there? The margarita or whatever. And they go up and they start making all these margaritas, and then that way, boom, again, it's a seamless process. So when I went on the Jubilee, they said, yeah, the corporates basically told us we can't be doing this anymore. But at the same time, we can't have 75 of you show up to one bar and only two bartenders there. So they're kind of forced to help you, but they don't help you quite the way they did. But the Jubilee was great. I mean, the crew, they understood. And I even had, I think it was the Carnival celebration one time. It could have been the Mardi Gras, but I think it was the celebration. But the beverage manager told me no. Like he said, yeah, no, we're busy. We got other stuff going on. We're not going to be able to help you out. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, well, you might be telling me that, and I'm not trying to tell you how to, and I felt dumb, but at the same time, I'm like, is this guy, like really a beverage manager? Like, does he not know what's going to happen here? Because I'm just telling him, it's like, look, I'm not telling you how to do your job, but I'm like, you are going to help. And I wasn't even saying that to be a jerk or anything. I was like, but because I explained it to him, I'm like, this is what's going to happen. We're not canceling the bar crawl. We have 75, 80. I couldn't cancel it now if we wanted to. I mean, there's so many people, we did this through Facebook. A lot of people don't have Wi-Fi. So it's a done deal. It's going to happen. But here's what's going to happen to you. Okay. You're telling me you're not going to help. All right. But you are. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start at this bar, and we're going to go to the bar, and there's going to be 75 of us walk in, and there's going to be two bartenders there, and they're going to be looking at us, and they're going to be like, help. And they're going to get on the phone and say, we got 80 people in here. We need help. And what's going to happen is you're going to send your senior bartenders because there's an excess crowd in that particular place. And then you're just going to stay with us the rest of the day because anywhere we go, that's where they're going to need help. So you can tell me no, but that's what's going to happen. And I promise you, it happened exactly like that. We walked into the Havana bar, or like, oh yeah, we need 75 Cuban iced teas. And the bartenders are like, help. And for like 5 minutes later, 2 or 3 senior bartenders showed up, and, they were just going to work, whatever. And from that point on, everything ran smooth. And it's like, you just have to, let us help you. I mean, we're giving you business, right? We're helping Carnival. Let us help you, and then everybody's happy. So, I like some people just the common sense is failing, I think, and especially for that one guy. And I mean, it's a good thing I don't know his name. I wouldn't say his name anyway. But all right, so getting back to Quest, if Quest and bar crawls have to go, then when does adult comedy and shows like Amor Cubana with adult innuendos in them get banished too? Yeah, that's a good point. Well, and People choose cruise lines for different reasons, and that would be one of them. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody that enjoys Carnival has had a problem with Carnival to this point in terms of tying in family and stuff like that. They've mixed in enough quality entertainment for both young and old. But now we're finding out that they're getting rid of some of that, and not catering so much to everybody. So we'll see what happens. Ann says, I've done a bunch of bar crawls. We have changed the name to a bunch of friends that are going from bar to bar because I've been told they don't do this anymore. Yeah, Ann, and that's just what I was talking about. Not that you make money on them, but the t-shirt sales. Oh, that's what I meant. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean the t-shirts, like I say, especially when I ship them, I think it varies. Sometimes I get a better deal, but usually the t-shirts run me around $12 a piece. But with shipping, that's usually about $7 a shirt. So you're looking about 19, and I charge 25. So I'm making $5 or $6 a shirt. And then, I buy stuff that I give away for free, like the buttons and the stickers and other things like that I'm just passing out like candy. And like 500 buttons, for example, that cost me like $176. I think I pay for like 500 buttons, and I'll give away 250 buttons a cruise. So there's $80 right there. So yeah, it's more marketing, but it is cool. I really do enjoy when I host a bar crawl and everybody's wearing like a Coach Cruise shirt. And then not only that, but like Lee was really good about this. Lee Mason, when he was still a cruise director, he would catch people on cruises that I wasn't on, that there wasn't, but they had been on a Coach Cruise bar crawl or something, and they were wearing one of my shirts, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. He'd send me a little video and stuff, and yeah. So Chris Moss, Project Ace with 8,000 people and more connected cabins. Big mistake, huge. Okay, haven't got to this, and we're already up against it. We're already an hour, but yeah, we're going to touch on this before we say goodbye. I mean, the XL class is too big, right? So just came off the XL class, and there's so much to do, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you don't want to get bored on a cruise ship, and that's definitely the case with the XL class. That's one of the reasons why the Vista class is probably my favorite class of ship, and then the Dream class has grown on me, quite a bit as well, because it's big enough and it has just enough amenities where over the course of a week you feel like you kind of did a little bit of everything, right? And you walk off the ship and you're like, yeah. I mean, the good thing I guess you could say about the XL class is there's so much to do, so many different places to eat and stuff. You can't get it all done in a week. So if you go on the Jubilee, this year, and you do this, and this, then next time you'll be like, oh, we didn't do this or that or this or that. And then you make sure you do this or that or this or that, right? And then you can kind of get 2 weeks of vacation out of one ship. Now we're talking about 8,000. So we're talking about roughly 20 to 25% even bigger than what the XL class is right now. And Chris is saying, I mean, it's a big mistake. It could be. That could be a big fail. And I think, what did they order those? I think they got 3 of those Ace ships ordered now. I mean, I think there's going to be so much stuff on there and so many like, oh my God, did you see that this ship has this and this ship has that? And just the novelty of it, kind of like the roller coaster on the XL class. Now people are going to be like, oh, I can't wait to go on that ship. I mean, was anybody not wanting to go on the Icon of the Seas? So it's going to garner attention, and people are going to want to go on it. I will want to go on it. But I don't know if I'm going to want to go on it over and over and over again. Like if I'm going to love it that much. Like the Havana area on the Vista class, you get me in a Havana cabin for the week, and with the amenities and everything that it has there, like I say, I'm happy with that. So, all right. Okay, so Aaron is saying good night to everybody. And look at this. I love this. This is great. Michelle B says, "Do you need a shot? That was a lot of math. Impressive." And the thing I love about this more than anything, Michelle, is it's at the end of, normally the super chats always happen, from beginning to middle, and then once you get toward the end of the show, not as much. So I will stay on a couple more minutes for that reason. And I have the Basil Hayden. And so, you want one more treat? You didn't think you were going to get any more treats, did you? Come on up. Get a treat. A treat. Come on up here. This dog, she's turning into a diva. It's like you got to call her up to give her a treat. Don't have to call me up to give me a treat. So thank you for that, Michelle. And that puts us at 50. So we're right where we were at the start of the show. We started the show halfway in, and now we're right there again. I'll do mine first because Zoe wasn't ready. So high five for Michelle. And it's Roscoe. Roscoe, I remember the dog's name. And what do you say? What do you say, Michelle? What do you say? There you go. All right. She yelled out Roscoe. Kakins is here. Late arrival, but you did make it. We stayed on late just for you, Kakins, so you can make it in here. Something. See, I mean, this show is going so fast, and everybody, like I said, it took 10 minutes to say hi to everybody and read all the comments and everything. So another thing that they're doing, we talk about cruise news, and you can see this. I got to wait all the way to the end. But Mahogany Bay, they're going to add a pool. So in Roatan, Honduras, they're going to add a big pool like they have, say, in Amber Cove, and they have one in La Romana. So that's going to happen. I think they're going to expand the oceanfront area also. Costa Maya, and this will be a welcome addition, but apparently Costa Maya, they're going to create a, island-like escape or whatever with Carnival. So it's not just the new ships. I mean, Carnival is shoving all their chips in, with all these new ships coming. And now they're saying, we're going to expand this island. We're going to expand that island. We're going to make this an oasis and things like that. So did anybody else hear about the expansion, of those islands of Costa Maya, Mahogany Bay? And I might be forgetting one, actually. I don't know if anybody else heard that or not, but that is coming as well. So Alex Roberson, him and I were talking about this, off stage one time before the show that he came on with me. And, I think it's a good point. There's nothing wrong with these island man-made escapes, right? They can be a lot of fun and it can be a good time and all that. But I guess the traditional side of me is like, don't lose the culture. Don't forget why we travel. And maybe some people travel to just unwind and release. And, I mean, the man-made stuff is all fine. But, Roatan is one of my good examples for this, because Roatan has a very nice man-made carnival island, with the beachfront and everything. And I've heard many people say, hey, yeah, we do that. Everything's just right off the ship there. It makes it easy. And it does make it easy. But I like to, I don't want to travel to go to some place that's man-made. There's plenty of man-made places I can go to in the States. I want to go see some natural or something that hasn't been, influenced too much by, man. And, so like I went to Roatan and went to West Bay Beach, traveled clear to the other side, and then in Little French Key, I mean, that is a woman-owned little island key or whatever, but you still have the natural landscape around it, and they've just added stuff to it. But that would be my idea. But yeah, I mean, I think these are nice additions, especially if you've been to that island a lot. It just gives you a little extra something to do. But I hope that it doesn't, kind of change people's original reason for travel, which is kind of go out there and explore and see some things that you wouldn't normally see. All right. We are going to wrap this up here pretty soon. Chris Moss says Costa Maya is going to be perfect day Mexico for Royal Caribbean. Yeah, And Texas Cruiser says, Perfect Day Mexico is a royal property. But I was pretty sure. I don't know. Well, now you got me confused if I mixed them up or whatever. But I was pretty sure that Carnival is going to do something in Costa Maya as well. Tim says, I just heard about Mahogany Bay. Yep. Okay. So I definitely got that one right then. At least we got one right. And hopefully we got the Costa Maya thing. Amy says they're renaming Costa Maya Perfect Day Mexico for Royal Caribbean. It will be like Coco Cay. Mahogany Bay is getting a new name as well. Isla Tropical or something like that, I think. Texas Cruiser, it's scary. Oh, yeah. Chris Moss, Mark Arbuz. Have a good night, everybody. Yes, Mark is saying good night. A couple of you have said good night already. And I guess I will say good night as well. It's 10 minutes of overtime here. And thank you, everybody. Let's go through. We had admin Tim start us off today, and then Sherry, the Texas Cruiser, Chris Moss, Michelle B. Thank you all for the super chats, and thank everybody sincerely. I remember when I started this channel, getting comments was like, hard to come by because we didn't have a lot of people. I mean, today didn't even advertise the show really until a couple hours before the show. And, we were over 40 people at one point. And that's with no advertising or anything like that. So thank you all so much for checking that out. Many of you, a couple videos that I have coming out. I will be having the Carnival Jubilee ship tour coming out probably tomorrow. I've got that all done. I just got to make a thumbnail and finish the description for it and everything. And that will be ready to go. Also, I came out with my Marines video. If you all want to see me get screamed at, my big giant self get screamed at by somebody half my age probably, and me say, yes, sir, aye, sir, and all that other stuff, you will get a kick out of the Marines boot camp video. For those of you that don't know, I went to the Marines in San Diego to their training facility where they train new recruits and take them through boot camp and everything. It was an amazing experience. I always had great respect for our military, service. Anybody that served in the military is serving or has served, always had great respect. And the Marines, they're considered like the top, and no offense to Army, Air Force, Navy, anything like that, but they're considered the top, like, the elite, like I don't know if they're considered like they train the hardest, but I understand why after spending a week with them and seeing what it is they do and everything. Much respect, and the lives they've transformed and taken some young men and women that really had clouded past and futures and things like that, and really gave them a path and a direction that they could feel good about. So yeah, that was a really cool experience. Like I say, it's a long video, but I think you'll have some fun with it, especially, like I say, you get to see me get yelled at, and it's fun. So all right, we will see you all later, everybody. And again, thank you so much. And hit that like button on your way out if you haven't already hit it. And we'll see y'all next week. All right, take care. Peace. Bye. I said bye.